the Spotlight. I'm Kevin Perry, your host for the show, and we want to welcome you to this very special edition of the January show that features the wonderful Mr. Patrick Madden from Port St. Lucie High and the awesome drama students from Port St. Lucie as well. But before we start speaking with our guests, I want to take this opportunity to remind our viewing audience about the Ford County Honors Band performance, which will be at Indian River State College on January the 23rd, starting at 6 o'clock that evening. That program will feature 4 wonderful instrumental ensembles that include students from right here in St. Lucie Public Schools. We hope that you will continue to support us in all that we do and come out and cheer those wonderful students on and listen to some very, very great music. But as I mentioned to you earlier, we have joining us drama instructor, theater instructor extraordinaire, Mr. Patrick Madden. And Mr. Madden, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Mr. Perry. Nice to see you.
I think this is probably your 6th or 7th or 8th time with me, or even more. At least. Joining Mr. Madden, well, Mr. Madden, just in case, there's some viewers of our audience that don't know who Patrick Madden is, give us a brief bio.
My name is Patrick Madden. I'm the drama teacher at Port St. Lucie High School. I've been there since 1989, which was when the school opened. I was the youngest teacher on the faculty when we opened, and now there's 4 original faculty people left. There's a little tidbit for you, Mr. Perry. And started the drama program, and since then it's grown and grown and grown, and right now we're working on one of our biggest shows ever, Disney's The Little Mermaid.
Okay, speaking about Disney's Little Mermaid, we also have some of Mr. Madden's wonderful students with us as well. Guys, I want you to also introduce yourself. Make sure you tell our audience what grade you're in as well, okay? And Ava, let's start with you.
Hi, I'm Ava Ingersoll, and I'm a freshman.
Hi, I'm Journey Velez, and I'm a sophomore.
I'm Keith Hicks, and I'm a junior.
And at this time, we're going to have a great conversation with Mr. Madden and these wonderful students, but we're also going to have an opportunity to hear one of the songs from our show. But Mr. Madden, we're talking about The Little Mermaid, Disney's Little Mermaid. Before we go any further with any conversation, I need you to please tell our viewing audience when the show is and where they can purchase tickets.
Okay. The show is January 28th through February 7th. We run for 10 shows, 5 shows each weekend. We run on a Thursday night, Friday night, 2 shows on Saturday, and a matinee on Sunday. So there's 10 shows both weekends, and tickets are $15. It's at the Port St. Lucie High School Auditorium, and tickets are available at Perkins on US 1 in Port St. Lucie, Honey Baked Ham in Stewart, the Tin Fish Port St. Lucie Boulevard, Jay's Fine Jewelry in St. Lucie West, Joy's Ice Cream Midway Road in US 1 in Fort Pierce, and Joy's Ice Cream across from Treasure Coast High School on Darwin Boulevard.
And just in case you did not get all of that, just remember, it's Port St. Lucie High School. Just call Port St. Lucie High School.
Yes, and we have a website. It's Port St. Lucie, it's pslhsdrama.com, or you can call our hotline at 337-6768.
So, Mr. Madden, why did you choose to major in theater?
Because I was fairly good at it, and I had done my first show since when I was 5. I think I might have spoken about that before, but
I think our viewing audience would love to hear about the time when you did not
get in the show. Is that, yeah.
Make the show?
No, my first show was when I was 5. It was The Music Man, and I got involved through the choral director at my church, who was doing the music direction for the local theater production of The Music Man. And I did a lot of local community theater and did some professional theater in Pittsburgh as well. Some of the people from the Pittsburgh Civic Light Opera, which is one of the biggest regional theaters in the United States, they do summer stock. And they saw me in a play at the Butler Little Theater, and then I did Oliver at the Pittsburgh Civic Light Opera. And after that, I did a TV show for WQED Pittsburgh, which was the public television station in Pittsburgh, and it was Connecticut, that's easy for me to say at 8 in the morning, that Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's Court with Bill Bixby. Do you remember Bill Bixby,
I do.
Mr. Perry?
I do.
The
I'm
original Incredible Hulk. And Richard Basehart, that's really going back. Can I stump you on that?
You did.
Richard Basehart starred in Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea. Did you ever see that show?
I did.
Okay, well, So, and we filmed in a studio next to Mr. Rogers' neighborhood.
It's a beautiful day in
So,
the neighborhood.
yeah, and I'm going to tell you that I was really kind of traumatized as a kid when I saw that the trolley was a miniature model because, never mind. Anyway, then I did a lot of high school theater. I got an acting scholarship to Ohio University and did 2 years there and was doing great, and took an education class on a whim that I needed for an elective and helped them with their play and really liked it. And I found that I liked it more when, I still like to perform and occasionally I do, but I got a bigger charge out of seeing the kids do well, and it was a real challenge, and so I switched my major, and the rest is
history, his story.
well,
So, Mr.
whatever
Madden,
you want to call it, Mr. Perry.
if we were to visit your classroom at this time,
Yes.
what is it that we would see? What is it that we would hear?
Okay, if you came into my classroom today, we're working on some scenes. My Acting 1 class right now, they just finished solo pantomimes to music, and they are creating original puppet shows. My Acting 1 class just finished monologues. We do not rehearse, and this is what people, I don't know if they realize this, the people in my classes aren't necessarily in the musical or the show after school. All of that is rehearsed after school. My classes, we do not rehearse the show in class. So all of the class work is completely different. And then we also have a special block class that goes out to the elementary schools and teaches drama to the elementary kids. And right now we're working at Mariposa Elementary and St. Lucie West K-8.
We'll talk more about that in a little while. But let me get these wonderful students involved. And we'll start with Ava and just work our way to Journey and then to Keith. Now, you guys are actually starring in The Little Mermaid, am I correct?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Would you tell our audience what part you're playing?
I'm the Little Mermaid. I'm Ariel.
Journey?
I'm going to be playing the role of Prince Eric.
And I'll be playing the role of Sebastian.
Now, I know from being a theater buff myself that you guys go through a very strenuous audition process. And just jump in. Tell us a little bit about that process of auditioning.
With the process of auditioning, it goes in 3 criteria. It goes from acting, singing, and dancing. And if you can at least major in 2 of those, get a check plus or maybe a check, you'll enter in the show, and that's how you become part of the show. And then later on, you go for callbacks, and then you audition for the part that you want.
So what's this callback day and auditioning for the parts that you want?
Well, this year was different because we didn't have the chorus room, so we did everything in the auditorium. And we did the first callback, we did in separate rooms in the dressing rooms where we would do our parts. And then the second callback, we would sing our parts in front of everybody on the stage.
So you had to read the part as well as sing for the part.
Yes.
How difficult is that?
Well, I've been practicing before callbacks and before auditions, so I already knew the part, so.
So you
I
felt
was
at
a
home
little nervous,
on the stage. So tell me this, if you were not one of the stars, what would you be doing in the show?
Well, we would be in chorus, and chorus, as far as we know, they get a lot of stage time just being in the chorus, and they get a lot of cool costumes at the same time. So that's pretty cool.
So what do you like about being in The Little Mermaid?
Well,
Oh, you go.
okay, all right. Sure. It's really amazing. Like, this is only my second show ever, and I'm starting to fall in love. Like, it's just great, just being able to be up there and just sing and dance and act. It's great. It's great.
Now don't worry about Mr. Madden being here. Just talk to me. I know Mr. Madden and he knows that I know. How difficult is it? Tell the truth. Just tell the truth. It's okay.
It's very difficult.
Yeah.
Very. It's really difficult. You got to go up there and you got to have some guts. You do. You have to have some guts.
Tell me about your rehearsal schedule.
Every night. Every night, 6 to 9.
And how long have you been in rehearsal?
I haven't missed one.
When did it start?
Mid-September?
Yes,
Mid-September is when it started?
Yeah.
Mid-September for end of the year, end of January opening day.
Yes,
Every night
Yes.
from 6 to 9.
6 to 9, 4 nights a week.
And then you guys are still honor students, right?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes.
good answer, good answer. Well, most of the students that participate in the arts do extremely well in school
They
as well.
do. Well, they have to. They have to keep their grades up and with their work. I mean, these are 3 really great students. Why don't you tell them a little bit about what classes you're in, other than drama? And I think they might be impressed to hear.
Well, beside that, I also take the Theory of Knowledge, which is a required course for the IB diploma. And it's basically a philosophy class where you just take different things and put your own perspective into it. And I really like the class because you can put your own 2 cents in the class and you won't get any repercussions, and you basically state your opinion. And also the other IB class that I'm taking this year is IB History of Americas, which I had pre-IB last year.
And what's your GPA?
My GPA is right now, I'm trying to get it up, but it's 3.4.
And what's your GPA?
I have a 3.8.
And what's your GPA?
I'm not really sure, but I think it's a 3.8 or 9.
So you can see that they're all very good students.
So, Mr. Madden, how do you go about selecting the musical for the year?
The Little Mermaid's a show that I've wanted to do since I saw it on Broadway. I knew that it would be a really great high school show to do. The problem that we had with The Little Mermaid, and I think that I told you this early in the year, was the rights weren't available. And we really held out. We usually start at the beginning of September, but we were holding out to try to get the rights. And luckily, and if people don't understand what the rights are, we have to pay money to Disney and to a company that represents Disney for the right to put on Disney's The Little Mermaid. And the rights, because it had been on Broadway and on national tour, were not available. So when those came open on the first day, we were one of the first schools in the United States to get the rights. And I was very excited. And now that I'm really into this full throttle, it's a very expensive show, Mr. Perry.
I'm sure. It's Disney's
It is.
Little
It
Mermaid.
is. It is. And some of the problems that we encountered were, because this is a new show, the costumes weren't already created. So let's say we're doing Hello, Dolly, or Mame. I make a call to Costume World and say, we want to rent your set of. My call to Costume World this year was, can you create a new set of costumes, which they're going to do, but then they're going to rent them out to other theaters and schools in the United States. And we've talked before.
So this is the first?
This is the first for them. We also have ZFX, which they do the flying for Broadway's Wicked. They're coming here to train. Who is flying? Journey's flying.
flying,
Ava's
yes.
flying.
I'm
And Carson Glass is flying. And they're going to be trained the end of Martin Luther King week.
Okay.
Because all the swimming, the flying is going to simulate the swimming for Under the Sea. So then we have to make the show look like it's under the sea. So we need mini drops, which don't come cheap, and bubble machines, and it's going to be quite a show. But I'm just telling you, Mr. Perry, it's a lot more than I bargained for. Am I sorry that I did it? No. I'm very excited. And another thing that's really great about the show is with Ava and Journey and Keith, the cast is basically new. This is a real turnover year for me. We had a lot of people graduate that have been in the program for a long time. Now, Ava's been in the program since she's been little. Journey was a football player who was dating someone in the play.
That'll do it.
You know what? And
He got hooked.
He got hooked.
Yeah.
In more ways than one. And anyway, but Journey, he found that he really liked it, and he has a real talent for it. And it's funny how, even like I got involved through church, how you get involved, and you may not have ever known that you had that passion or talent. And Keith, why don't you tell how you got involved, Keith?
Well, originally I wasn't going to try out for the play, but Mr. Madden, he noticed my exquisite skill in reading, and he called my stepfather saying you should really try out for the play. And so
That'll do it too.
Yeah.
Call the
Yeah.
parents.
Yeah. So the first play I ever participated in was Mame, in my freshman year.
Okay. So, Mr. Madden, you've been at Port St. Lucie High School for 27 years, since day one.
Yes.
How do you describe 27 years as a musical theater educator and director?
It really doesn't seem like it's been that long to me. But we've worked really hard to build the program up to what it's become. And people always say to me, how do you do it? How do you do it? Well, the number one thing is you put in long hours, and these kids rehearse, rehearse, rehearse. And like Ava said, she knew what the show was. The same with Keith and with Journey. They worked on these parts before the tryouts because they wanted a part. And it's just like being an athlete. You have to train and work even before you get to the auditions.
Okay, students, and Mr. Madden, I think I want everybody to answer this question. Because you're a thespian in your own right, and you watch television, you listen to people sing, you go to other musicals, other theater productions, what actress or actor would you like to work with if you had an opportunity to do a show or just to play around and be able to say I sat at the piano and sang with, or that I was on stage with? Who would that person be? Ms. Madden?
Well, my favorite singer, of course, was Frank Sinatra. I was lucky enough to see Frank Sinatra live twice. One time he was drunk, but no, he actually, I saw Frank back in 1990 and at a theater in Fort Lauderdale. Fantastic. And I saw one of his last shows at the Kravis Center, and he still wasn't the old Frank, but the magic, happened in spurts. But with professional actresses and actors that are still working today, the best performance that I've ever seen was Glenn Close in Sunset Boulevard. That was the best stage performance. And the best, I'll tell you what actor I like, is Richard Dreyfuss. And he doesn't do much anymore, but in the 70s, when I was a kid, he did Jaws, Close Encounters, and really a quirky, interesting actor.
Okay. Ava?
See, I don't know a lot of actors' names or anything. I
Okay.
just watch,
Are musicians,
I just watch stuff.
any performer?
But I like action movies, and I would really like to do an action movie with Van Diesel, Bruce Willis, or Chris Hemsworth. That'd be really cool.
And see, I don't see you as an action actor.
I know.
See, you learned something new this morning.
I did. Journey?
See, I don't know many actors either, so I'm gonna go with Sean Palmer. He was the original Prince Eric for The Little Mermaid on Broadway, and I'd like to sing with him and act with him so he can give me some advice on what I could do better.
Awesome.
As far as dead and alive, a person who's deceased has been a big influence on me was Marlon Brando. He's been a big influence not only on stage but also on camera. And as far as alive, Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah, I'm crazy about Samuel L. as well.
Keith is a real old movie aficionado.
He's an old soul.
He is,
Yeah.
he is. And we could do a whole show with just Keith on some of his favorite movies, because his stepfather loves the movies too, and they've seen a lot of the classics.
Well, since we're talking about Keith, why don't we take a brief pause right now and listen to Keith sing Under the Sea from Disney's The Little Mermaid.
The seaweed is always greener in somebody else's lake. You dream about going up there, well that is a big mistake. Just look at the world around you, right here on the ocean floor. Such wonderful things surround you. What more is you looking for? Under the sea, under the sea. Darling, it's better down where it's wetter. Take it from me. Up on the shore, they work all day. Out in the sun, they slave away. While we devoting full time to floating under the sea. Down here, all the fish is happy as off through the waves they roll. The fish on the land ain't happy. They sad cause they in the bowl. But fish in the bowl is lucky. They in for a worse fate. One day when the boss gets hungry, guess who gonna be on the plate? Under the sea, under the sea. Nobody beat us, fry us and eat us in fricassee. We what the land folks love to cook. Under the sea we off the hook. We got no troubles, life is they bubbles under the sea. We got no troubles, life is their bubbles under the sea.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Keith Hicks singing Under the Sea from The Little Mermaid. What's The Little Mermaid? It's Disney's The Little Mermaid, and it's going to premiere at Port St. Lucie High School on
January 28th, which is a Thursday night, and it runs January 28th through February 7th. 2 weekends for 5 shows each weekend. Each weekend we have a Thursday night performance, Friday night performance, Saturday afternoon performance, Saturday night performance, and Sunday performance. Tickets are $15, and you can go to pslhsdrama.com for more information.
And we're hoping that all of our viewers will go and see these wonderful students in Mr. Madden's production of Disney's The Little Mermaid. But let's continue talking. Because we know we have our viewing audience, Mr. Madden, that's participating and they tune into the show and they always come to support musical theater and other arts here in St. Lucie Public Schools. What can our viewing audience help do to sustain the arts, especially the arts in education?
Well, I think that our audience does help sustain the arts just by coming. Supporting your kids, supporting the students in St. Lucie County, supporting live theater in the area. Tuesday night we went to see Chorus Line at the Riverside Theater, and you know it's important. And tomorrow night we're going to the Kravis Center to see 42nd Street. So it's really important that you support your local theater so that it can thrive and survive.
All we need for you to do is just to come out every time you see these wonderful students are putting on a production and support them, and that will send a major message about the importance of the arts. Now, it's apparent that everybody sitting here has a passion for the arts. What is it that drives that passion in you? What is it that fuels you to want to put yourself on stage for others to see and bring other characters to life?
Well, I like becoming a different person every time I act. It's like an out-of-body kind of experience. Like you're not yourself, and if you do something stupid, it's okay because you're
Because you're somebody else.
Exactly.
Anyone else?
Well, this is only my second show, and last year I was in the chorus for Suzuko the Musical, and you know,
Great show.
it was a great show. It was, and it was just that feeling that I got. It was a brand new feeling for me, and it was just amazing being in front of that audience and hearing that applause after each number, and just being able to sing and dance with no worries at all.
Well, the thing about acting and singing is that if you first looked at me, you probably wouldn't guess that I did theater. But when you see me on stage, when I invite my friends to see the show and they see a different side of me, that's something that they look forward to in the future, seeing if I can be that different person in real life.
Okay, Ava, Journey, and Keith. Tell me one thing that you're excited about this year, and you don't have to limit it to being in the musical, but I know that's a major part of your life. But I also know that the classes and participating in those musicals bring additional opportunities to you. So name one thing that you're excited about and why that is.
I'm excited about a few things, but I'll just give you one. I'm excited about like a lot of athletic people coming to the show because I'm in a lot of sports and I'm inviting all my teams, and they said they haven't seen a show before, and so I'm excited for them to come see it.
You know, that's a great thing, Ava, because Mr. Madden and I both know that those students that participate in athletics could really learn a lot about being an athlete from participating in the arts. It will really help their strength and conditioning. What else are you excited about? Journey, Keith?
Well, you know, when I say that, oh yeah, I'm Prince Eric, I'm the lead male of the show. Most of my family, most of my friends, they're like, oh, you can sing, oh, you can act, oh, you can dance, and you know, it's just really surprising to them, and they're like, oh, well, why don't you sing for me? I'm like, and then I just tell them just to come see the show. Come to the show. I'm excited for them to see the show.
The most exciting thing is probably just doing an accent, because not a lot of people know that I can do a Jamaican accent, so I think that's exciting. When they see it on stage, they'll be really surprised.
Mr. Madden, 27 years running, what is it that you hope to accomplish by teaching music to teaching the musical theater to these young adults?
I would say the thing that gives me the most gratification right now at this level of my career is seeing, like we just got back from our New York trip, having the kids meet, study with, experience, perform and see them go through that whole process that meant a lot to me as a kid. And so many of our former students, including your cameraman, you know, that have studied and done stuff. And maybe they would never ever think that they would even try to do a monologue. Or in fact, it was funny. I saw in the news the other night the spokesman for the Port St. Lucie Police Department, and I had him in drama class. And I remember he did a really good monologue as Charlie Brown. And people who see him on the news in that role as his police officer would probably never ever guess that he was really good at that in class, and he had never ever done it before. So that's what really gives me a charge as a teacher.
Speaking of your New York trip, I know, Mr. Madden, that you and Ava just went to the New York trip back in December.
We did.
Tell us a little bit about that trip. How many shows did you see? What was your... Because I know you have a very fast-paced 8 days there.
We do. We saw 13 shows.
Wow.
In a week. The big show that we saw was Hamilton. And if you've tried to get tickets to Hamilton, you can't.
Almost impossible.
We've got tickets to that. In fact, what's funny is when I submit my trip to the school board a year early, people always used to ask, why are you submitting this so early? And it's because we want to get really good tickets. The tickets to Hamilton, we had orchestra seats, and we paid, I think, $144 a ticket.
Wow.
The tickets, the scalp rate of tickets, if you were going to buy a ticket, was $1,200 a ticket.
Wow.
So we could have, if we would have sold our tickets, we could have funded the drama program for a few years.
Ava, what was your favorite show that you had an opportunity to see while there?
Hamilton.
Okay, great. Okay, now here's my final question, and we only have a short time, so you have to speak fast. Tell me, what's your favorite musical and why?
Hamilton, because of the music and the story and how he tells it.
I'd have to say Something Rotten because of the music and the way it's told.
A great show. I saw that one on Broadway this summer.
The Color Purple because my father actually played Old Mister.
Really?
Yes, sir.
Really? Mr. Madden?
Again, I'll have to go with Glenn Close and Sunset Boulevard.
Okay. All right. I guess I'll take that.
Were we quick enough?
Yeah.
Mr. Perry? Come on, Mr. Perry.
Of course, you're always great. You're always great. I just have so many questions that I want to ask and get it all in.
What's your favorite show, Mr. Perry?
We're not going to talk about my favorite show. Here's my final. Well, everyone, we hope that you will come out and support the wonderful cast and students at Port St. Lucie High School this year in Disney's Little Mermaid. And before we sign off, Mr. Madden, would you please tell us one more time those dates and when we can purchase tickets?
Little Mermaid, Port St. Lucie High School, biggest production ever. Excited about it. January 28th through February 7th. Tickets are $15. You can give me a call, 337-6768. We have a hotline, or pslhsdrama.com.
We want to thank our viewing audience for joining in with us here on The Spotlight, where we turn and shine the spotlight on the arts each and every month. It is our pleasure to have an opportunity to bring you the very, very best in arts education and entertainment here in St. Lucie Public Schools. Once again, we want to thank Mr. Patrick Madden, drama teacher extraordinaire, and Ava Ingersoll, Journey Vasquez, and Keith Hicks. I said it wrong, didn't I? Velez, I'm sorry. And Keith Hicks for joining us here on this edition of The Spotlight, and we'll see you next month.
Thanks.